Hello everyone, welcome back for some more Let's Play the Great Ace Attorney there, right? So we're calling some new witnesses from last time there. I may be needing to do a quick reminder because I'm now back in Canada and the audio might sound a bit different, but it's fine, we're here. Let's continue. It's next witnesses. Mr. Naruhodo, do you not remember? Nope. Thanks, Sussy-chan. We've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses to the incident. Yes, I remember, one of them being a Scotland Yard policeman, no less. I'm afraid that's likely to be the prosecution's next witness. Alright, no matter who Van Zieks brings to the stand as his witnesses, and no matter what they say, I believe in Soseki-san. I know he's innocent, and I'll keep believing to the very end, until this battle is over. Alright, did we literally stop right before? No? Oh, she's cute on the right. Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. That guy on the left looks like he might be a little out of it. Are they wearing the same knit sweater? That's kind of cute. Yep.
Constable Rolly Beate, sir. Nothing to report on the street, sir.
Oh boy. There he goes.
And I'm Miss Beate. Patricia's my name. I'm proud to say I'm this young town hero's wife.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a pair. What's the story here?
Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day.
No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems, a little tired. Hardly surprising. Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling the That's why his name is... Wow! They just straight up said the namesake. Because walking the beat is what they say for, police officers there. Wow. They normally don't just straight up say what the name is a pun on. Patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world. Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before, actually.
Indeed, apart from rare days off, our gallant officers trudge some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses and pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check that meters are running true. One day they'll even tax television, which is whack. And they're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting and extinguishing our streetlights.
Oh my god, you had to do it by hand. I never even considered that. There are a number of items on the list that don't sound much like policing duties at all. I wouldn't just be falling asleep on my feet. I'd have collapsed a long time ago. But it goes without saying that a policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of criminals. Even when he's off duty, a constable is expected to investigate and resolve any crimes on his beat. For the London Bobby is a man of honor. And a man of slumber. On the day in question, this man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction, and they witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Beate?
That's right, sir. Isn't it, Rolly? Constable Rolly Beate, sir. Nothing to report on the street, sir.
What a great witness he's gonna be.
Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw the afternoon of the incident.
Yes, sir.
Good boy. Oh boy, he's... Oh, she's cute though. She's like really cute. She's got those sparkly eyes. 21 and 23. God, he's always chewing too. What the witnesses saw.
It was our wedding anniversary and Rolly was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work. Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor, and the other scattered something before running off. We ran straight over, of course, and then went for help at a nearby police box. It was definitely that Japanese man in the dock. Rolly and I both saw him clear as day.
Well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I must say.
Oh dear, this policeman and his wife are claiming to have positively identified Mr. Natsume at the scene. If their testimony is true, the alternative course of events that you established in the summation examination will be quashed.
It's death knell, in fact, because that alternative was never viable in the first place.
What an unfortunate chancing, and on your wedding anniversary too.
Oh, I know, but I still managed to go out for the evening with my man. I thank the Lord for that.
Patricia Beate is now Christian.
Gosh, the life of a London bobby sounds very hard indeed.
Indeed. However, this cross-examination will be over in minutes. You may well have time to rest this afternoon.
What do you mean by that?
My learned friend, the witnesses saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that it was without doubt the accused, Mr. Saseki Natsume. And one of these witnesses is a policeman, no less, so you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure.
Uh-oh. Except that man's so tired his wife had to do all the talking.
Enough preamble. Counsel for the defense. Commence the cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Oh boy. It's probably going to be that she is saying everything for him and he didn't actually see anything. It was our wedding anniversary and Rolly was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work. No time to change after work, you say? Are you also a member of the police, Miss Beate? No, sadly not. It's a job for strapping young men only. Women, children, and the elderly can't even apply.
Well, I think you can probably see why children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you?
I think Rolly looks ever so handsome in his uniform. It suits you down the ground.
It suits you down the ground. That's a phrase I've never heard before,
Doesn't it, darling? What? Oh, I just finished my beat. Pat and I were heading to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there.
Is he talking in his sleep? This is creepy.
Oh no, Rolly, I much prefer you in uniform. Sometimes I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes. Oh dear, that doesn't seem healthy.
Kindly adhere to the point. You were going for a meal after you had finished your beat for the day, correct?
Well, that's right, sir. Yes, although I was fit to drop, to be honest, after spending the whole day on my feet. But policing is my life, sir. As long as I'm a proud owner of this, I'll serve my city and my queen to the end.
What's that now?
My warrant card, sir. Proof that I'm a London copper. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty to patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. Sir! And for such a noble cause, I cover 20 miles every single day without fail and without grumble. 'Cause I know that the plodding of my boots is all Londoners need to feel safe and secure.
So, fighting crime doesn't appear to come into it then?
But sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary.
What the frick is this voice? I'm trying my best. Oh, romantic.
This beat puts up a lot being married to a bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. Oh, what a charming couple. Their young love is such a joy to behold.
If a little over the top, perhaps?
Then, kindly describe what happened next.
Wow, none of that mattered.
Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us.
Okay. Two silhouettes.
That's right, they were coming towards us, walking up Briar Road in the opposite direction.
Wow. Oh, I was going to say, that's nothing.
There was a rather plump figure, followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man.
Okay, but I was going to say, how does that work? But no, they're going the other way. They're going opposite. That does sound exactly like the victim as pictured in this print, and like Mr. Natsume. Yes, unfortunately it does. And you're certain that at that time there was nobody else nearby?
Oh yes, quite certain. It was dark, but there were streetlights on Briar Road, you see. There was nobody else around at all. Isn't that right, my darling?
Oh, yes, that's right. Of course, there was a light fog on the ground, but Briar Road is dead straight, and you could see a fairly long way down the pavement. And then there's a street lighting as well. I didn't see any pedestrians.
Before sleep takes a firm hold, your answer please, Mr. Beate. Are you quite sure of what you've just said?
Yes, sir. As a cop who spends all day every day keeping watch on the streets, I'd swear to it, sir. I'm as sure as...
My love for Patricia's true.
Oh, Pat. Oh, Rowley.
They're still maintaining there was no one else other than the victim and the attacker. It's starting to seem like that must be how it really happened. Beginning to seem like there's nowhere to run. Well, that didn't stop Mr. Natsume, did it? He fled the scene all too convincingly.
Thank you. I believe we have a reasonably clear idea of the situation just before the incident now. What happened in the crucial moments that followed?
All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor, then the other scattered something before running up.
Can you explain which? That seems important. Scattered something. What do you mean by that?
Oh, well, I couldn't quite make out what it was at the time. But when we got closer, we realized what it was. Didn't we, darling?
Oh, what? Yes, that's right. It was some old books.
I see. Old books.
Oh, yes, sir. A copper had dropped a number of them, all around where the victim lay on the pavement.
Indeed, as clearly pictured in this photographic print.
That rotten Japanese man did that when he did the...
Why would he just drop them on the ground? That makes no sense. Let's not forget that it remains to be established that the defendant was indeed the attacker.
But we saw him. It was a man in the dock. Without question, sir. The mustache, the hunched back, the cat-like eyes, the top mouth, the snub nose. Oh, everything.
Any more insults you want to throw in, buddy?
That's right, he looked down at that poor defenseless woman with those terrifying, intense, almond-shaped eyes, and we're like, oh my god, calm down. And then suddenly threw his books onto the pavement and ran away.
I see. This is tough. They seem as though they're telling the truth here. May I remind the court that this unambiguous testimony comes from a policeman and his wife. Now please continue.
Yes, sir.
We ran straight over, of course, and went for help at a nearby police box.
Was it your husband who went to fetch help?
No, I went. I may not be a police officer myself, but I am the proud wife of one after all. Isn't that right, my dear?
This chick seems like the type to go to restaurants and be like,
I demand a veteran's discount. I'm the wife of the veteran. And he's not a veteran yet. He's actually in camp right now. He'll be there in 2 to 3 years. But I want the discount now. Isn't that right, darling?
Oh, yes, that's right. I asked Miss Beate to go. I was off duty by that point, but a Bobby's never truly off duty, of course, so I felt obliged to stay and guard the scene.
Very laudable, Mr. Beate. Preserving the scene of a crime is a task of considerable importance.
That's why I sent Patricia, you see. I told her where to find the right police box.
Forgive my ignorance, but what do you mean exactly by the right police box?
Oh, depends on the crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. Where the woman was stabbed wasn't actually on my beat. So I told Patricia the way to the police box for the beat, the incident found her so she could go What?
I ran there as quickly as I could and asked for help from the Bobby on duty. There's nothing more potent than a young couple in love working together, you know.
And thanks to your swift response, the case was quickly resolved. The actions of two model citizens.
Oh, please. You're making me blush, isn't he, darling?
Oh, yes, sir. What Patricia said, sir. Oh.
Let's move on, shall we? Must be this last one.
It was definitely that Japanese man in the dock. Rolly and I both saw him clear as day.
Didn't you say it was silhouettes?
Hold it!
Let's see. But surely you wouldn't have been able to see his face by the light of the gas street lamps, would you? Wait, oh, calm down. Oh my god, this man's gonna die.
We absolutely could. Us Londoners have exceptional eyesight, I'll have you know.
Right.
The light from the street lamps was more than enough. And my husband already told you the fog was only light, didn't he?
Yes, and what of the fog?
We're famous for it across the globe, I believe. But it's an absolute menace to those of us who have to live with it, of course.
Oh, it is, it is. When it's thick, you can't even see the hand at the end of your own arm.
Yeah, all right, I take your point. Now, could you stop shaking your husband about?
The constant fog makes our eyes very sharp, you see. That's why we can tell you for sure and certain that it was that little Japanese man we saw. Can't we, darling?
What if he just breaks his neck one time and kills him?
Well, yes, so it was the accused and no mistake. The mustache, the hunchback, the catlock eyes, the top mouth, the snub nose. Unmistakable, sir!
As far as this couple's testimony is concerned, there can't be any question. It was Saseki-san they saw running away from the scene of the crime. Uh-oh. So that's it, is it? That's their entire testimony?
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I hate to admit it, but on hearing the testimony, it really does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. Beate saw what they saw. Mr. Natsume running away from the scene on Briar Road that day.
Yes, I feel the same.
So if that's true, where does it leave us?
The members of the jury are sure to call for a guilty verdict after this testimony.
Oh no! What do we do?
If Kazuma-sama were here, what are you trying to say? I think he would try to find a contradiction somewhere else within their testimony.
What do you mean, somewhere else?
Their statement about seeing Mr. Natsume is unequivocal. Calling that into question won't help. If you could identify some other part of their testimony which appears to contradict the facts, you might be able to discredit them, to make the jury doubt if the pair's memory of the day is accurate.
Oh, right.
Put simply, we must focus on finding a discrepancy in the statement somewhere. If we don't, I pray the trial may reach an early and unfavorable conclusion.
Why do I always seem to be up against it?
Mr. Lawyer, sir, can I ask you something?
Yes, of course. What is it?
Well, you keep asking us all these questions about everything we've told you, so... It seems like you don't believe our testimony. Is that right? Is it? Well, out with it, all little punchies.
What? No, that's not that at all, no.
My husband's a policeman, remember? And I know what I saw. I remember every last detail, everything, like... Oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped? I could tell you the names of every single one I could, every single one. And you dare to question how reliable my testimony is?
That will do, Miss Beate.
No, I won't do it all. That Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. Even if I decide to forgive him for insulting us, don't think for a minute that Rolly will.
I really didn't mean to cause offense. Please put your husband's fists down.
Perhaps you would like this opportunity to supplement your testimony, Miss Beate? Might that, appease you?
Oh, thank you, my lord. That would settle things nicely.
Is she literally just gonna give us a contradiction? Right here?
Wouldn't it, darling?
He's not even waking up. He's just out.
I can even tell you the names of the four...
There's 3, but go on. Okay. Yes, we know that there were books dropped at the scene of the crime, as you say. Those purchased by the accused at the nearby secondhand bookshop on the day in question.
After I'd been to the police box for help, I decided to have a good look over the area for good measure. I'm a proud policeman's wife, after all. I did it for Rolly.
And what was your husband doing at the time?
Oh, he was lying face down in the snow, getting some well-deserved rest. He works ever so hard, you know. Ever so hard. Don't you, my darling?
Interesting way of guarding the scene of the crime.
Well, Miss Beate, seeing as you've regaled the court with a tale of your powers of recollection, would you be so kind as to recount the titles of the books you observed at the scene of the crime?
I'd be happy to. Now, are you all listening? There was the picture of Monsieur somebody or other, and what's it yearnings, and there was, a meal for someone, and the last was definitely the thingamies something. You see?
Yes, I see there are 1 or 2 holes in your memory.
Oh well, they were along those lines, I'm quite sure.
There were indeed books found at the scene with titles along those lines, as you put it. If we check here. Picture, meal, and yearnings. So which one is the one that's not there? The thingamies something is the one that's not there.
Well, what did I tell you? So I think it's very mean the way you've been implying that my testimony can't be trusted. Don't you agree, darling?
Oh, he's actually... Whoa!
Anyone who upsets my Patricia will have to answer me to answer to.
Oh my god, put the gun down. Buddy. Terrifying. Yes, she really is. Women, am I right? Okay. So we got that. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we got it. She gave us exactly what we need. We just gotta actually go for it now. We got this. And the 4 books. Are we gonna start with this? Because there's only 3 books at the scene?
Objection.
Yeah. So you're saying that there were 4 books.
That's right, I remember all of them. The picture of Monsieur somebody, what's it yearnings, a meal for someone, and the thingamy something.
I'm sorry, Miss Beate. But there is a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours.
Oh no, what flaw?
Simply that, at the scene of the crime, there were only 3 books, not 4.
What?
Have a good look at this photographic print of the scene of the crime. As you can clearly see, there are only 3 books.
But no, that can't be. I saw them. Oh, I know what it is. Yes, you can't fool me.
Sorry?
It's a big old lump of a dead butt.
She's not dead.
That lady's so large, her corpse is blocking the view of the 4th book.
She's not dead. Let's at least try to remember that the poor woman isn't dead, even if we're insulting her size. No, I'm sorry, Miss Beate. But Mr. Natsume cannot possibly have dropped the 4 books you describe.
Why not?
Fascinating. And from your assured tones, something you can readily substantiate with evidence, I presume. Evidence.
Counsel, you will present evidence to substantiate your claim or withdraw it. What proof do you have that the accused did not drop 4 books?
Boom.
Take that.
The evidence is right here, in the form of this bookshop receipt.
From your books?
No, from the bookstore, not my own. Yes, this receipt details Mr. Natsume's purchases that day. But as you can see, only 3 books are listed.
No!
Therefore, Mr. Natsume would have only dropped 3 books at the scene of the crime. Which means that your powers of observation, madam, cannot be relied upon. So it cannot be denied that though you say it was the defendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, no!
Objection!
Oh, what you gonna say to this, bub? It's plainly evident that it is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend. What? What cannot be denied is that these two witnesses saw the accused running from the scene, a fact that you know very well you have no hope of disproving. So you've striven to avert attention from that by dint of some inconsequential discrepancies. Would that be fair? He sees right through me. But your plan is somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. My man pulls out a slice of bread. To the policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony in every respect.
Oh!
You see, the matter is not up for debate. At the scene on Briar Road, a total of 4 books were most definitely found. But what about the photographic print? It only shows 3 books. Quite right. Only 3 can be seen in that print. That print? You mean to say... Allow me to present another, one that shows the victim's hand. Yo, that big grubby sausage is just gromping onto it. And it's the lion's pride. Okay.
Where have we heard that one?
For some reason, I want to say that one is in Mr. Garadeb's collection, but I don't remember why. Also, is it burnt? Huh. I don't believe it. It's the 4th book. As you will observe, the 4th book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso. No! No!
Border!
There, you see, look at that. Look.
Yes.
It's just like I said, isn't it, my darling? Yes, sir. Patricia's always right, sir.
Let us study the receipt for the books purchased by the accused on the day in question. Miss Beate, the titles once again, if you please.
Oh, yes, of course. The picture of Monsieur somebody or other.
A picture of Monsieur Lecoq.
What's it, yearnings?
Canterbury yearnings.
A meal for someone.
A meal for Gaborio, in fact. As the court has just heard, the witness remembers the book titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details. Miss Beate's powers of recollection can only be described as exceptional.
Did you hear that, Rolly? The gentleman paid me a compliment. Yes, sir, flawless, sir. Patricia's flawless.
But there are only 3 books on the receipt, and Miss Beate mentioned 4. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly, the 4th book is that which is shown in the photographic print.
I'm sorry, Counsel, but does that not seem odd? Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt?
It's not odd at all, my lord. As the photographic print clearly shows, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. The victim was holding her own book? I wonder what became of that 4th book. Obviously, it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence. Can we look at the burnt back?
We will submit that in the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, Counsel.
My pleasure, my lord. Second crime scene photo has been added. If it's not burnt, we immediately know something's up. The prosecution rests. Does it? Because that is clearly it burnt. And Oh no, it's right there. Whoa, gnarly. Looks like friggin' wood or something.
Let me see. It's a book entitled The Lion's Pride.
I'm afraid I don't know any English literature at all. So it wouldn't be something I've heard. Wait a minute.
Lion's Pride? That's strange. I think I've heard of a book by that name before. Very recently, too. It's a title I recognize too, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yeah, we've definitely heard of the book name.
Oh, look at this. The book has been badly burnt.
You're right. You'd never be able to read it in this state, especially not the latter pages.
What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently.
A book recently damaged by fire.
Why does that seem to raise a red flag with me?
Yeah, who... I forget the context of when that happened. I mean, I know there was the fire in the Garadeb house, but... I have nothing further to add.
What?
You seem surprised, my learned friend. But your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The spurious longer route to the accused lodgings that you tried to establish in your summation examination, and that attempted discrediting of the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination.
Futile? I walked right into this, didn't I? You see, everything we've said is true.
Quit looking at me with those Oshinoko eyes.
Isn't that right, my darling?
Yes, Pat. Marry me, Pat.
So, perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions. Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is it the decision you have to make all too apparent already? You have heard all of the witnesses and seen all of the evidence. This trial has run its course.
Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid we're in a terribly precarious position.
I know, but if I fight back the wrong way now, it could very well just make matters worse.
Think, Ryunosuke, think. What do you do now?
I'm going to wait and see.
I should just keep quiet now and see what happens.
Well, as the defense has no objection at this juncture, in which case...
Mr. Naruhodo, was I not clear? The case for the defense is in great danger.
Yes, I realize that, which is why I decided to let the sweat drip from my trembling brow in silence. You're so right. Sorry, but don't say it now. It'll be all over, and it won't end well for us. I can't let that happen. No, wait. The defense... The defense will have to wait. Because that sapless hesitation cannot go on... Oh, dang! Oh, alright! Isn't your finger-pointing punishment enough? Interesting. I don't think I've ever done that where it gave you the choice and it punishes you like that. Normally you object and it's not that. No, my learned friend. It's over. That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There's no more room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but I can't think of what to say. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, it seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. Bro, you can't just talk about a woman's lawless hole, come on. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh. I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable.
Mr. Naruhodo.
One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance, so this court will hear you, madam.
Go ahead, Mr. Sato, please. Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked in this matter you see fit to pursue further?
Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished.
I see. I do believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you?
Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take this opportunity to
don't worry. I've examined it. I got that. Right? The burn. The burn on the lion's pride.
Yes, I understand, and thank you, Mr. Sato.
This is it. Sasato-san has managed to win us one last chance here.
I can't let it go to waste.
The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord.
Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case and has hitherto been overlooked.
Take that!
The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. The fourth book found in the victim's hand. We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know.
Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, counsel. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear?
Oh, yes, my lord. It's,
Mr. Naruhodo, I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence, which means you may very well be on the right track.
Yes, I think you might be right.
So, counsel, precisely where is this vital clue to this case which this fourth book conceals?
Present. I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question.
A back? What do you... Oh, gracious! It would burn to a crisp!
So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to be doing.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend? Oh! Were I to concede the point, if it bears no relation to the case, there is nothing to discuss. So, should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day, pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? A charred book. There's just one possibility here which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory.
Don't keep us waiting any longer then, counsel. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage that Soritomas suffered?
Its owner. Uh-huh. My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner.
I beg your pardon?
But we already know who this book belongs to.
The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor after all. It's obviously hers. The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand is yet to be answered. However, as to the question of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers.
Good gracious! How could you possibly...
Very well. I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may very well burn you if your little gamble goes awry.
Counsel, the defense response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book?
That is Mr. Garadab.
Take that!
The answer is that book belongs to the couple who owns the house where the defendant has his lodgings. Yo, the 360! A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garadab. The landlords. And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I know that franchise. I don't know, but of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Mrs. Garadeb herself.
Oh my goodness, me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garadeb's wife. I'm his maid.
Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garadeb's house?
Oh, I would never presume to know the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused landlady, you say. You implicate this hard-working member of the public. You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable. Now, I talked to her yesterday, bro. This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor in Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's house.
Good Lord! What sort of incident, counsel?
He's just getting so excited. A fire, my lord.
Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is I lost my favorite. Book called The Lion's Pride.
There it is. I remember him talking about it. Yo, the Chuny pose. Yo, bro. Bro is out here, like, hiding his demon-powered eye. The Lion's Pride, you say?
By Jove! The very same title that's the subject of this debate.
Oh dear me!
Objection!
This is risible. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire, in which case it would be reasonable to assume that it was burned to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you the cause of the fire was marital discord, rather. Without going into details, it appears that Miss Garadeb was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garadeb even amid the flames.
Oh, how awful! I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love.
Can you Rolly?
Absolutely not, sir! My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir. She might break my neck every single day. It's broken. When I walk, I look like one of those wooden horse toys. You always fall down.
Had all my favorite novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got a hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Then the wife started hurling things at me. There I was, back up against the window under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming, 10 to the dozen.
Did she just throw it out the window and it hit her? Wait, is that what it's just gonna be? That Mrs. Garadeb, in anger, threw the book out the window and it hit her?
The man had his back up against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him. Goodness gracious, are you suggesting that the book was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
No. A thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident, and there is no report of the Garrideb's window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garrideb household. But it is not conceivable that the window was open. No, it's not, because it's winter, bro. But not even remotely. Let us not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter.
Does the defense postulate that this scenario in all seriousness, counsel? Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Garrideb's wife?
I believe it's a possibility, my lord.
That's rad as hell, bro.
That's quite enough, says who? Who's this? Oh, of course.
Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are, you little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward.
Really?
Claiming that our little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight. Honestly. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case, not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name.
No, I assure you that was never my intention.
Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense.
Bro had that dodge button ready. He had witch time.
I should box your ears, that's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable.
Hey, if you've ever had your ears boxed, it hurts. It hurts a lot. It really hurts. Just letting you know.
Too right.
Here we go.
How long have we sat here now listening to this Nipponese?
Every time they say it, it sounds so bad.
This Nipponese spouting out this fancy foreign theories. But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could have possibly stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with the mustache. He ran away from the scene too.
I do declare you're right.
It's true.
Yes, what did I tell you?
Makes sense to me.
Sorry. What's that?
Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Venseeks?
In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait! I don't drink. I don't get that reference. The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... God, you're such a slut. If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. I'm stuck. Can someone help me? What, no forgive the discourtesy this time? Full offense.
In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defense's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh, even him. Well, we can do that one thing an infinite number of times, right?
Thank you for that unambiguous response.
That's twice now. It's over. Who? I'm gonna guess that this is frickin'... I'm gonna guess this is Shomes in the audience. Mr. Naruhodo, don't give up. Oh, Mr. Sato? Have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet. You're not suggesting... Of course, the defense has the right to another summation examination at this point. You could still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance. My lord, the defense has to exercise its right to a summation examination. Oh. You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve. I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. There's no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. Oh, that's a strange place for it. Sure. All right. To be continued. All right. We will continue this next time for some more Ace Attorney adventures as we head into part 2 of episode 4. We will see you guys next time for that then. Ciao.